The Coliseum in Greensboro, North Carolina, drenched in rain, but inside, the emotion of the NCAA tournament has arrived. Hi, everyone. Kevin Harlan alongside John Sunvold. Great to have you with us as we begin things here out east in Greensboro, North Carolina. And beginning for the Buckeyes of Ohio State, they start in the middle with Ken Johnson.
Ken Johnson, dominating play for Ohio State, dominating on the defensive end. Two-time Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. Does not allow many shots to get to the basket. If you get inside, he's going to knock it away. 120 blocks this year, not only on his guy, but on the weak side also. Utah State is going to have to attack him. They want him in foul trouble.
And for Utah State, they go inside with Sean Daniels, a big body.
Big body and different than Ken Johnson. 6'6", 270, somewhat of a wide body. He likes to attack bigger players. Active hands, active feet, soft hands. He's got good spin moves. He'll attack Johnson, and what he does best, Kevin, he uses that body to draw contact. Good finisher of the basketball.
Number 5, Ohio State. Number 12, Utah State. Next on CBS. Utah State against Ohio State. Let's now go to the third member of our crew here today in the Greensboro Coliseum, Charles Davis.
Thank you, Kevin. You know, today everyone knows about Ohio State University, one of the nationally known figures in college basketball. In fact, they concluded the 1990s with a trip to the Final Four. Not many people know about their opponent, Utah State, but perhaps they should. 27 victories this season, fourth most in NCAA Division 1A, behind Duke, Georgia State, and Stanford. Another win today will go a long way towards national recognition for Stu Morrill's Aggies.
All right, Charles, thank you very much. Stu Morrill is in his third year, the former head coach at Montana and Colorado State. And his team comes into today 27-5 with this grouping of Sean Daniels, Curtis Bobb, Dimitri Jorson, Bernard Rock, and Tony Brown. And for the 5th seed, Buckeyes of Ohio State, Jim O'Brien in his 4th season, the Brooklyn native, former Boston College player, led the team to a Final Four a couple years ago. They come in 20-10 overall. They've got Zach Williams, Ken Johnson, who we talked about, Brent Darby, Boban Sovovich, along with Brian Brown. Brian Brown leads the team in scoring. And our officials today, Fran Conley from the Big East, Joe Lindsay from the Southeast Conference in Big East, Mike Thibodeau, Rails from Louisiana from the ACC in the Southeast Conference. Ohio State relieving a tough beginning of the season, coming back and finishing 11-5 in conference play and getting an at-large berth. Utah State winning the Big West Conference tournament, 3rd straight NCAA tournament appearance. John, what do you look for early?
Well, early Utah State, outstanding defensive team, Kevin. They're going to play man-to-man. Offensively, they'll be patient. Jim O'Brien said yesterday, Utah State reminds him a lot of Wisconsin on the defensive end. Make it difficult to get open shots.
Sovovich throws it inside with Zach Williams, a freshman from Brooklyn, New York, putting it in.
And Williams has steadily improved all season long. Freshman can be a force on the offensive end, doesn't look to score a lot, averages about 7 points a ball game. He will be matched up, though, defensively against Sean Daniels. Utah State will be patient on the offensive end.
Brown feeds inside to Jorson, who goes across the lane, and the rebound inside by Ken Johnson, who travels for the Buckeyes.
Well, first thing you notice off Jorson, they're going to put it inside to him. They want Ken Johnson to get in foul trouble. Johnson a little foul prone, got in foul problems in the loss at Iowa in the Big Ten Conference tournament. When he is not in there, this Buckeye team is struggling.
Bob feeds to Tony Brown.
2-3 zone from the underneath out of bounds. Looks for a Rock or Brown to spot up on the outside.
And inside they go to Jorson again. Missing his first and trying to go back up, and off his hands it goes. Dimitri Jorson, who's 7-foot senior from Belgium. For those of you expecting to see Georgia State, Wisconsin, we'll be taking you out to that game shortly for a 12:40 Eastern Time tip. Savovich. And on top to Darby. Brown kicks it outside, and Savovich for three.
Savovich solid. Good movement on the Buckeye offense. Spacing is good. They'll try to space it around Ken Johnson on the inside. Savovich has been playing well lately.
Rock on top to Bob, and outside to Brown with the miss, and Jorson is there to slam it in.
Now big finish. He missed the easy one last time down the floor. Has to be a force inside.
The freshman Williams inside the Johnson, back to Williams with a seductive fake, maybe too seductive as he is called for the trim.
You saw the avenue that Williams had to go to the basket. Ken Johnson will normally draw a double team, as he did all in the Big Ten season. Stu Morrill will have to go double team, see what happens. That opens up avenues for other Buckeyes.
Daniels inside, and outside for Curtis Bob. With the rebound pulled down by Williams.
And Darby good with the basketball, quick. Rock will have to contain him. Good matchup.
He's from Detroit, Michigan. Sean Conley has been seeing some playing time, but Darby gets the start. Third leading scorer.
Darby's been the guy on a roll lately. Almost 15 points a game. Last 8, tough inside move.
Ben Johnson puts that in, hitting his first shot today. And the 5th seed Buckeyes of Ohio State lead by 5.
Well, the growth of Johnson offensively since he arrived at Ohio State. Every year a little bit better. And that's what he does best.
He is number 4 all-time in the NCAA in blocking shots, all-time Big Ten leader. And a throwaway right there, and the other way coming with it, Bernard Rock, and he's fouled by the Buckeyes.
Good hands by Rock, good foul by Savovich, but talk about Ken Johnson in the open. Offensively, they like to put it into him and see if he'll be aggressive and make moves. There's a little jump hook. Good start for him defensively. This is where he wreaks havoc. You take it in there, you have to be stronger. You want to go right through him. Got in foul trouble against Iowa. Iowa attacked him.
Savovich picked up the foul, and maneuvering is Brown, and back to Jorson, who puts in the second basket today for the Aggies of Utah State.
Yeah, one of the keys yesterday, Stu Morrill said, Ken Jorson, we need him to put pressure on Johnson. So far, so good.
And that's a hold inside on the Aggies, and they put that on Curtis Bob from Aurora, Colorado. Look at Stu Merrill, who just got a contract extension through the year 2008. These schools, John, want to hold on to their coaches if they got a good one for a long time.
Well, one of the best mid-major schools out there. Last 20 wins they've had, all double-digit figures.
Savovich takes it once again down the lane and puts it down. He had a career-high 23-point performance at Penn State earlier this season.
A ball game where Ohio State was down 20 at halftime, and there's Sean Daniels doing what he does best.
You say he weighs 260 pounds. What do you think?
I think that's a little light, huh? Boy, he's got great feet, good hands, soft hands. Good pass for the basketball.
Almost a steal by Bob. Savovich takes it in, rejected by Daniels, and picked up by Curtis Bob.
Daniels led the Big West Conference in block shots at 55. You can compare that. Ken Johnson had 120 in the Big Ten Conference.
Here's Bernard Rock from New York City. Utah State so far 37% from the field, 3 of 8.
They will run a lot of different offensive sets to confuse Ohio State this afternoon.
Bob with the miss. Ohio State with their 5th rebound. Zach Williams twisting and turning on Daniels. Who applies some pretty good defense, and they kick it back on top, and Darby now controls.
As you mentioned, Darby inserted in the starting lineup has been coming off the bench 2 years ago on the run to the Final Four. Ryan Brown was inserted into that starting lineup, being the 6th man all year long. They won all 5 games, so they got to the Final Four. They lost to UConn in the semifinals.
Bob made the steal but couldn't convert, and the Ohio State Buckeyes on top by 3 early in Greensboro. Buckeyes have had 4 turnovers in 10 possessions, thus only a 3-point lead. Rebounding Utah State 7-2, which didn't surprise you coming in.
Little half-court pressure now by Utah State. Changed defenses at different times in this ballgame.
Sean Connolly is now checked in for the Buckeyes.
Ohio State normally doesn't turn the ball over that much. They've had a solid season, third in the Big Ten.
Will Dudley is also checked in, a junior from Brooklyn. And Dudley has the ball on top to Brown.
Good charge, good block.
Daniels has been in the face of a couple different guys. He has 2 blocks now in this game.
He catches guys off guard. Quick off his feet, has quick hands.
Again, for those of you expecting to see Georgia State and Wisconsin, we'll be taking you out to that game shortly for a 12:40 Eastern, 11:40 Central tip. It's about 5 minutes from now. Kevin Harlan, John Sunbold, and Charles Davis from Greensboro, North Carolina. Bernard Rock to Brown. Got a screen from Jorson. Inside to Daniels.
Yeah, so effective, so patient. A lot of times you'll see young players rush everything. Daniels, a senior.
He started 2-2. And they go inside to Dudley. Counted for 2. Will Dudley, who is coming off a career-high 26 minutes in a loss to Iowa in the Big Ten tournament, comes in, the 6'8 junior. The foul on the play was called on Johnson. It's Terreno Johnson, who just checks in for Utah State. And here is Dudley at the free throw line.
Attacking the press. Ohio State wants to do. Sure they get good looks on the other end. Great matchup, Darby on Rock. Bernard Rock, one of the quicker players in this tournament, as is Darby. Pretty good challenge for Rock to see how well he plays. Struggled last year in NCAA when they lost to UConn, played against Elamine. Had a tough outing.
Deion Bailey missing it going inside. He is a senior and fresh off the Aggie bench. And here comes Brown. And looking for Dudley of Ohio State. The Buckeyes finishing 3rd in the Big Ten Conference this year. But very much an up-and-down season. Ken Johnson with a corkscrew shot, and Daniels is there to collect it for the Aggies. Inside they go to Jeremy Vague, who is a junior from San Marcos, California, and he is belted inside. And a Buckeye foul is called on Brian Brown.
Again, this Aggie team pounding it inside, trying to take it to Ken Johnson. Johnson smart enough to sag off once his opponent catches. Ohio State will double team at times down low. If you put it on the floor, they'll take it.
Rock from 3.
Good set play from underneath, out of bounds against the zone. Rock, a solid outside shooter, 35% from beyond the three-point line. Tournament MVP in the Big West last week.
Greg Darby. And a rebound by Johnson. Rejected inside by Vague, and then Johnson stuck with it for the Buckeyes.
Staying with it, I think Vague surprised Johnson on the first one.
Vague is 6'9". Johnson comes in at 6'11". Johnson can jump out of the gym. Here's Deion Bailey, picked up by Brown. And here comes Vague over Johnson, who may have gotten a hand on that shot.
And what's tough for Vague, only averages 4 points a ball game. They've now put him in, and they say attack. Well, you're attacking one of the best defensive centers in all of college basketball.
Great shot blocker. He gets it inside. Johnson from Detroit, and the senior going across the lane with the Utah State foul blown inside. And they go on Sean Daniels. Timeout taken with the Buckeyes holding on by 3. Greensboro Coliseum, the Aggies of Utah State, the 12th seed against the Buckeyes of Ohio State, number 5, and CBS Sports coverage of the entire NCAA basketball tournament is interactive through Ultimate TV.
Well, surprisingly so far, Brian Brown without a shot attempt, leading scorer for Ohio State. Patient though. They've been able to get it to Ken Johnson and then space out, and Utah State has not double teamed him.
Sofovich on the wing, picked up by Brown. And an open shot by Darby, and picked up on the play by Brown.
And Rock is at his best when he can get the ball out in the open floor. Ohio State doing a nice job of getting back defensively.
Bailey taking it down the lane. Utah State now to within a point.
And Bailey, the energizer of this Aggie team.
He's a senior from West Covina, California. He's only had one start. Stu Morrill is the one who gave him that on senior night up in Logan, Utah. Zone defense by the Aggies and another steal, this time by Bailey. Up ahead to Rock.
Well, Bailey offensively and defensively outstanding in the championship game of the Big West tournament against Pacific, where he had 14. Again, when he comes off the sideline, they expect these things to happen.
Utah State with their first lead today.
Well, first it is Rock to Bailey in the penetration. Lane opens up. Easy score.
Tim Martin is checked in for the Buckeyes. Connolly.
The zone defense so far effective. Darby, Brown, Solovic have to find some shots. Unforced turnover.
That is a turnover for the Ohio State Buckeyes. They now have 6. And Jim O'Brien a bit upset by that. Utah State has not turned the ball over once in this game. The Aggies are shooting 43%. The Buckeyes are shooting 46%. Clock again. Picked up by Brown. That's a foul away from the ball. And they call that on Brennan Ray.
And Ray a little disappointed. He was kind of upset. Brown trying to set up his man to come out for the shot. Moving screen. He wanted Brown to stay there so he get a good screen on the defender. And the zone has been effective. Ohio State's got to find some things on the inside.
Brown knocks in a 3 from outside. He leads him in assists, leads him in steals, plays the most minutes, and we told you before, the leading scorer having a career year.
Yeah, co-captain. Again, part of that Final Four team 2 years ago as a freshman.
Here comes Brown inside to Ray. Now to Vague from 15. And a rebound by Solovic.
Oh, take a look at Bailey over the floor.
That's a senior.
Knocked it away again. Picks up the foul.
We think they just knocked it out of bounds.
I picked up a foul against the Ohio State. I think Solovic, look at the knockaway. More energy since the minute he has come into this ballgame.
Out of bounds. And Ohio State on top by 2. Utah State in the dark uniforms and the Buckeyes in the white with the red trim. Brown finding Daniels, playing with a couple of fouls. Feet inside to Bailey, and Solovic read it well but stepped out of bounds. Nonetheless, nice defense for Solovic.
And what you like offensively for this Utah State ball club, when it's in the hands of Sean Daniels, how patient he is on the block. Waits for the double teams, not in a hurry. Good pass. Good hands by Solovic.
Vague checks out. Jorson checks back in. Tony Brown will check out. And Curtis Bobb is back in for the Aggies, who are 13-3 in the Big West Conference and finished second in the regular season.
You know, pace of game right now doesn't favor either team. Ohio State used to a lot of close ball games in Big Ten play. Utah State not used to close games. Most of their wins by double figures, but used to playing teams that are bigger outside of conference. Their win at Utah this year, win against South Florida. Last year, this ball club in the Maui Classic played USC and slowed that game down.
But for Stu Morrill, the coach of the Aggies, the thing that he has talked about with you and I yesterday, and of course all season long, the defense in the country. They rank #1 in points allowed, and the Aggies in field goal defense, as dictated and taught by Morrill, #6. Not bad.
Well, not bad. And one of the things you can do is offensively you can control the tempo, and I think they do that in a lot of ball games. They've got 5 seniors. All been here 2 years, 55-11. The 2 seniors, the record, or the 5 seniors, the 2-year record.
They're checking the shot clock right now. Big clock with 9:16. Shot clock with 32 seconds. And a look at the team from Logan, Utah, with an enrollment of just over 21,000, almost 21.5, and a record of 27-5. I think Charles Johnson hit on it so succinctly to begin our broadcast. Those 27 wins, the third most in college basketball. Duke in this particular region with 29.
Yeah, finished second in the Big West to UC Irvine, led by Pat Douglas. Jerry Green, outstanding year out there, player of the year. UC Irvine lost last night in the NIT to Tulsa. Buzz Peterson with that win.
Folks, throughout the day, up in the left-hand corner of your screen, you are going to be seeing a translucent scoreboard, which will be continuous throughout our tournament coverage. For instance, right there you saw Wisconsin. There you see the Kentucky Holy Cross score. And that will be constant throughout our tournament as our officials continue to work on the clock here in Greensboro. We told you that Utah State won the Big West postseason, thus they are here. And the Buckeyes of Ohio State got an at-large berth after, as we mentioned before, a very up-and-down season, beating teams like then third-ranked Michigan State and third-ranked Illinois, but having some down times as well. Very streaky ball club.
Well, they started 4-5 in Big Ten play and then won their last 7. Impressive. Surprised some. I think even Jim O'Brien a little bit surprised. The loss of Michael Redd, Scooney Penn, George Reese.
Yeah.
The squad has responded well.
Bailey steps out of bounds.
Yeah, unforced turnover. One of those things that really didn't even come into play. That sideline, you have to know where you are. This Ohio State team has exceeded, I think, expectations from everybody in Buckeye land.
It's their highest seed, John. It's the highest seed for Ohio State since 1990. And driving inside with impunity was Brown. They fight for it. And finally corralled by Rock, who flies the other way into Connolly. Can't get it, and Johnson is there to inhale the rebound.
Well, Rock likes to push Jorson on the defensive end. Another block. Both teams will be patient. Ohio State spacing for their shooters. Connolly in there. One of those guys that needs a pick or two to get an open look.
Yeah.
Outstanding shooter from outside, 40%. 3-point land.
What is a shooter? You got to read those screens and anticipate when they're going to defend.
Well, what happens on Ohio State if you've got a big guy inside like Johnson? Everybody can play off of him, find some openings. Jim O'Brien said the key to our ball club is that we have to make open shots when we get it.
Another turnover to the Aggies of Utah State. 8 Ohio State turnovers, 2 for the Aggies, and here comes Rock. Daniels, the senior Bailey against Johnson. Daniels flying in, could not tip it. Johnson is there to corral it. He's got 5 rebounds, and Brown with a great move by Bob. Can't find 2, and Bailey there for the rebound.
Well, opportunities missed on both ends of the floor. Daniels with a tip in, Brown with a move to the rim.
Utah State 4 blocks, Ohio State 2 blocks so far. Rock, Daniels lost it, reels it in, can't get the 2. Finally retrieved by the sophomore Connolly from Peabody, Massachusetts. What do you think of the pace of the game?
Well, I think, again, it doesn't favor either squad. So far, kind of more of a feeling out period. We'll find out how each team's going to play. We know Ohio State will be patient on the offensive end, as well this Aggie ball club. Nobody's in a hurry. Surprising, though, that Ohio State this many turnovers.
9, John, in the first half.
And they normally are a team that takes care of the basketball. That is why they've been able to win this season. Fortunate they're ahead by 2 points.
Slavovich is on Bailey. Connolly is on Curtis Bobb, who is a senior from Aurora, Colorado. Shot clock now down to 13. Big clock at 7 minutes to play in the first half. Rock to Jorson. Nice hook shot inside across the lane with Johnson in his face.
Well, Kent Johnson, no matter how good of a shot blocker you are, you can't allow the post player to catch it that close to the basket. He let Jorson walk right to the rim. And Johnson was too far underneath.
Johnson tries to counter and puts the Buckeyes back on top by 2 with 6.5 to play in the half.
And the Aggies not double teaming Johnson. So they'll want him to score, see if he can score the ball. Jim O'Brien wants Johnson to be aggressive on that offensive end.
Rock from New York. And taking it inside is Bob. A lot of size in there for Ohio State.
A lot of size, and Jim O'Brien against that kind of ball club, you know they're going to help defensively. You go, the weak side's going to come. Got to find open teammates across the floor.
Brown.
Tough move.
That one trickles in for the junior.
So good off the dribble. Feathery touch. Has had a terrific season as co-captain.
Honorable mention, all Big Ten. Brian Brown from Brooklyn puts the Buckeyes on top, 21-17. Ohio State took the lead 15-14. They are now 1 of 7 with a couple turnovers, and they've been outscored 7-2 in Ohio State. Right now, with their second biggest lead today, they led earlier 9-4. Right now on top, 21-17.
A 1-3-1 zone defense, little trap on the wing. Good ball movement. Find some open shooters. Tony Brown's got to get involved with his jump shot on the outside. Johnson cleaning everything out and clearing it out with the middle.
Reno Johnson slithering inside, couldn't get it. Brown picks up the loose ball. Another turnover, number 9, make it 10 for the Buckeyes of Ohio State.
And you want to challenge a great shot blocker, but you've got to be realistic too.
Here comes Brown. Tony takes the shot and nails it. Tony Brown, a good three-point shooter, averaging 12 points during the season for the Aggies.
Yeah, such a good release of the basketball. Over 1,000 points in his career. Utah State ball club, only a junior. He is the kind of guy, if Ohio State's going to play a zone, he's got to find some openings. The way he shoots the basketball. The Aggies now in their own zone defense, 2-3.
We've had one free throw taken in this entire first half. As Brown will search and find Savovich.
Savovich, Brown, Darby. Got to have more movement on the outside, find some openings.
Williams is down low, and he feeds to Brown on top, missing a three, and there to corral it is Jorson.
Standing on offense, shot clock running down, had to shoot it.
Tony Brown, the former Utah High School Basketball Player of the Year, puts the Aggies on top 22-21.
You could see his release as they pushed it up the floor. Doesn't have to hesitate once he catches it.
Brown, the bump into Vincent, the feed outside to Darby, launching the three. Yeah, it was very nice. Inside, and that was performed by Brennan Ray. Jorson saves it.
Good hands, Vincent forced to pass. Good man-to-man defense by the Buckeyes. Stu Morrill's team is going to be patient trying to find the openings. Take a look at Brown coming off the screen.
Jorson again, and that hook shot has been his staple today. Ken Johnson is there with the rebound. He has collected 6 in the first half. Savovich and Johnson.
And Utah State does not allow easy looks, whether it's early in the offensive set or late. You get the shot clock. Good pass.
Zach Williams gets a terrific feed from Brian Brown. That's his 3rd assist.
He's got caught, lack of communication. Jumped out to help. Zach Williams simply slipped the pick, laid it in. Good pass by Brown there.
Reno Johnson with it. Foul away from the ball, and it's inside on the freshman, Zach Williams. He has been a starter all season for Buckeye coach Jim O'Brien. Buckeyes have led by as many as 5. Utah State by as many as 1. Well, one of the big stats you'll see right there in our game summary, the 10 turnovers by Ohio State, yet they are holding on to a 1-point lead.
Well, 37% by Utah State, a team that shoots over 49, 7th in NCAA basketball this year.
Brown and Rock are out there as zone defense by the Buckeyes. We've got under 3 to play here in the first half.
And again, I think the Aggies have focused so much at challenging Ken Johnson, they've forgotten about jump shooters like Tony Brown, who's hit a couple now. See if they can find him again. Good ball movement.
Ray to Rock. And the rebound is lassoed by Brent Darby, a sophomore from Detroit, who accelerates with the shove into Rock, gets some movement and some space and nails the jump shot.
And Darby has been quiet until that shot. Now 1 of 5, but coming into NCAA tournament play has been on a roll.
He's been coming off the bench.
Yeah, interesting. Put him in the starting lineup. He's playing the best basketball of the season there.
Johnson with his 7th rebound. Utah State is getting manhandled on the glass, with Williams getting a feed from Darby and wipe it away with the foul called on Brent Darby. That's his first.
And Brennan Ray, the scrappy, tough Aggie, physical type player, takes on a lot of charges.
Buckeyes on top 25-22. Timeout.
Kevin.
Ohio State is shooting 47%. They've led by as many as 5, up now by 3. Coming up on the singular at the half, Greg Gumbel and Clark Kellogg will get you updated on all the tournament news, all the scores and highlights, plus a live look at all the action going on in the NCAA tournament that's coming up at the singular at the half. 25-22, the Buckeyes, the number 5 seed, their highest seed since 1990. Against the 12th seeded Utah State Aggies.
Yeah, Rock got away with a double dribble. Ohio State bench trying to, if they'd had a whistle over there, they'd have blown it.
Utah State shooting 34%. Jorson, the drive, Savovich inadvertently, literally was standing there, but the trip was made and the foul was called. That's his second of the game for the Buckeyes.
There's not been many fouls called. As you mentioned, only one free throw attempt by either team, by Ohio State.
Connolly will come in now for Savovich. And across the lane goes Ray and finds 2 right in a thicket of Buckeye defenders.
And at 6'5", he turned his shoulder, and there was 6'11" Johnson. Didn't bother. Little left hook. Aggies back to the zone defense. 25-24, minute 20 left. Really, now it favors them. They want this game in the 50s.
Brown with the drive and puts it in. Brian Brown has put in 7.
We talked about it earlier, very familiar to NCAA play. Started all 5 games 2 years ago in their run to the Final Four.
Norman Rock. And the signals are being sent in from the Aggie bench by Plackett. And a lot of moving by Jorson. Good rebound inside.
Oh, what a shot. Stayed on his feet, stayed down on the floor.
Ray couldn't get it up, and Brown takes it the other way, and Ohio State will try to capitalize, and they can on the turnover. And now they can wind down the first half. Utah State can with the last shot.
Perfect first half for the Aggies. They can get the last shot, whether it's in or out. You're down by 3, 2, 1, maybe even.
Don't miss a minute of action for live game updates. Go to March Mayhem's Tournament Live at the Internet's home of college basketball, cbs.sportsline.com or AOL keyword CBS Sportsline. Here comes Rock. Seconds ticking off in the first half. Johnson inside, can't get it to go.
Got plenty of time, 4 seconds. Oh, what a pass.
Oh, Darby to Ken Johnson. What a finish for the Buckeyes. They equal their biggest lead of the first half. Now on top by 5 at halftime, 29-24. Ken Johnson galloping the other way, finishes with 8 points and 7 rebounds. Let's send it over to Charles Davis.
Coach, a tough first half. How do you like the pace of the game so far?
The pace is fine. I just don't think that we're efficient enough on offense right now. The zone has kind of hurt us and shouldn't have been as bad for us as it was. But we still have to get Johnson more touches and try to get him some more shots. And we didn't do a good enough job of that.
What about Brian Brown on the outside? Going to try and get him inactive a little more on the offensive end?
Well, yeah, he's getting his shots. I thought that we had more than enough shots and more than enough opportunities. But that's all part of not being efficient enough. I think we got to make some more shots, but just be better with the ball.
All right, Coach. Good luck to you in the second half.
Okay, thank you.
Buckeyes with 11 turnovers, yet they lead by 5 at halftime. That's the end of the first half with Ohio State on top 29-24. Our exclusive coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship will continue after this message and a word from your local station.